Hi everyone, the recipe that we're going to work on today on Mom's Brown Dinner is rotisserie chicken. Rotisserie chicken is super duper simple to make and it's quite delicious. Most of the new barbecue grills on the market now come with a rotisserie included, so that's what we're going to be using. Now, you do not have to brine your chicken if you're doing a rotisserie chicken, but we have found that if you brine it the night before, that the flavor tends to seep a little bit further into the meat. And even though rotisserie chicken is known for being very juicy, we're going to talk about super duper juicy chicken. So what we've got here is, this is actually about a 6-pound bird. If you get it frozen, just make sure that you thaw it in the refrigerator or thaw it in a water bath in the sink. And anytime that you are using a raw protein, you want to make sure that you wash it well, and then you want to dry the outside. I know that sounds kind of funny since we are going to put this in a brine, but you don't want it just sitting there with juices and things oozing out and congealing. So we're going to set him aside. For our brine, it's super duper simple. My family loves Cajun chicken. So what we're going to be using in our brine tonight is about a half cup of coarse kosher salt, about a quarter cup of Tony Cashier's Creole seasoning. This is just a Cajun seasoning that has different kinds of peppers: chili powder, black pepper, red pepper, salt. It is my family's favorite. And then of course you're going to need to add a bay leaf when you make the brine, and that's just one of those things that it helps protect against the antibacterial growth while the chicken is brining overnight. Alright, to start your brine, I've got about a gallon of water in my pot. I've got the heat up on medium high, and you're just going to start adding your ingredients. We're going to start with about a half a cup of kosher salt. So once you get your kosher salt in there, you want to add your Tony's, your Cajun seasoning. Be careful because there is enough pepper in there that if it gets into the air, it will make you cough or sneeze. And your bay leaf. And you just want to let those things mix up and dissolve. You will want to bring this to a full boil, and then you're going to allow it to cool before we add this to our chicken in our brine bucket. Okay, so let's talk brine bucket. Brine buckets, they're not anything special. You can use a bucket with a lid, you can use a small cooler. The point is, you want a container that's going to hold ice in the bottom, that's going to hold your protein, it's going to hold your brine on top, and then extra ice on top to keep it cool throughout the night. Ours is so fancy. It is an old pickle container from working in the concession stands when my boys were younger. So into this brine bucket, I have ice already. I'm just going to take my chicken and I'm just going to put him down in there. Now our brine has boiled and it is cooling. So I'm actually going to pour it right on top of the chicken. We're going to cover this over with more ice, stick the lid on top, and it's going to sit overnight until we're ready to start the rotisserie. So our chicken has sat in the brine overnight. You want to take it out and give it a good rinse so that you get all that extra salt off the outside. Now you want to secure this guy onto the rotisserie, which is a little bit fiddly, but use some butcher's twine and just wrap him up good. Once you get your bird on the rotisserie, you may want to sprinkle it with a little bit of extra Cajun seasoning and just let it go. You're going to let it cook until it reaches an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees. Now, while the rotisserie is going, you may want to every now and then take a little bit of light olive oil and either spray the outside or brush it really lightly with a barbecue brush. So the chicken cooked on the rotisserie for about 2.5 hours, and it did reach internal temperature of 170, so we're just going to let it rest. Take it off the spit, and then you can carve it up, serve it immediately, or it even freezes well, and it does retain that juice and that flavor.
This makes a wonderful dinner for your family. Add it to a few side vegetables and maybe some homemade bread, and enjoy. One of my favorite things about this recipe is that it is even more wonderful the next day, so lunch will be definitely enjoyable. I hope that you are enjoying these recipes. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and let us know if there's something you would like to see.